As most of you can tell, I'm a little new to the whole analysis thing. And on top of that, this assignment that I'm doing this for requests that I use audio only, and that means no big, flashy, animated personas. So go a little easy on me. Snips, Snails, and Equestria Girls.
Something special!
Snips and Snails are two rather familiar characters from My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic. They first gained notoriety in the episode Ghostbusters, in which they were Trixie's hench ponies. They've made many appearances since, with the most recent being the semi-theatrical release film Equestria Girls. Now let me explain something. I am in no means defending the movie. I personally really enjoyed the experience of watching a pony film in theaters with other bronies. I accept that it has many, many flaws, but I still had a good time. I do realize that people who disliked EQG are very set on disliking it, and that's okay too. I'm just here to explain some points that people may have overlooked. So I've heard a few people complaining about how Snips and Snails are stuck playing the henchmen in Equestria Girls, when they clearly aren't evil in the events following Ghostbusters. Now that's well known that these two aren't the most intelligent ponies in Equestria. Whenever we see this pair, they're always bumbling about or saying something amusing. Consider them a more prominent and less adorable version of never mind. Regardless, they first joined up with Trixie because they had a clear admiration for her. It may have been her spectacular magic performance or her assertiveness that made them consider her leadership material. Whatever the reason, they latch onto her almost instantly. They act as their servants, and due to her current forceful nature, she takes the opportunity and lets them. After Trixie admits that she lied about her abilities, they begin to understand that she isn't exactly what they thought she was. However, they don't actually admit that they were wrong. It can be argued that they still had loyalty to Trixie by the time she returned back to Ponyville in Magical Duel. In Magical Duel, Trixie returns with this all-powerful alicorn amulet. You could still argue that they didn't quite lose the respect for her. I personally believe that Trixie must have convinced them off-screen to join her ranks. She likely believed them to have been confident enough assistants before to help her, and she clearly didn't have the same relationship as they did the first time. Earlier, they were willing to do what she wanted, and even went out of their way to find an Ursa Major for her to vanquish. Here, they are more frightened of her. But it really isn't the biggest problem bronies seem to be concerned over. I get what people are saying. They are trying to defend Snips and Snails from being considered nothing more than henchmen for villains. People have argued back that it's an alternate universe in Equestria Girls, and that's the only reason for any character variations. But I disagree. Characters like Celestia, Luna, the CMC, and even the main six have the same basic elements as their pony counterparts. So why do Snips and Snails seem so much meaner than their pony versions? Well, they do have the same qualities. I'm not so sure when Sunset Shimmer actually went through the mirror, but it must have been a few years ago. The other main five were together in the yearbook, but had to have been torn apart by her shortly after the freshman fair. Because she appeared so soon after, I predict that Trixie did not undergo the same experiences that Pony Trixie did. Sunset took her place as the more authoritative figure. Because Twilight was not there to show the boys their error, they continue to see Sunset as the bigger person. Even in the scene we do see Trixie in, she's still relatively pushy, and no one gives two shakes of a tail when she didn't match the current pony version. But the second they see Snips and Snails as henchmen, everyone loses their marbles. So, basically, if Pony Snips and Pony Snails had continued to follow Pony Trixie without Twilight's interruption, and Trixie had been a tad more villainous, the two versions of Snips and Snails would be the same. This also somewhat justifies how cynical Cheer Lee was. In Ponyville, she's most known for being a very kind teacher who teaches, is it kindergarten or preschool? Ugh. Her talent isn't teaching high school students, it's in teaching children. It takes a different set of skills altogether, hence why Pony Cheerly is content with her job while the other Cheerly is miserable. Does this all make sense? This whole ponies and human ponies thing makes it difficult for even me to follow. All the same, I hope this explains how Snips and Snails' characters haven't changed at all. Everyone in Equestria Girls is essentially the same as their pony forms, with hardly any variations whatsoever. Even this in itself is a pretty valuable lesson. It's not entirely our personal traits who make us who we are, but also our experiences. Don't forget to like and subscribe, but don't comment. If this is sent into Equestria Daily, then discuss there, not on this broken system where half your comments won't even be seen by anyone.
We deserve whatever punishment you give us.